back. Well, let's bring in now Professor and former Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations, Ramesh Thakur. Ramesh, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Look, on Monday, the UN Security Council passed an immediate ceasefire vote, which Israel's supposed closest ally, the US, abstained from. This obviously angered Israel. What was your view on how this vote went down?
Well, I think it reflects a lot of anger in the UN community on the civilian carnage that's inevitable when you have a war. I think they forget a couple of key things, though. One, the war started with the Hamas attacks on October 7 that were particularly brutal and gruesome. And were it not for what happened on 7th October, there would be no Israeli military presence in Gaza today. The second thing to forget is that the war could indeed end if Hamas released all the hostages, surrendered its weapons, and handed over for trial the senior commanders responsible for what happened on 7th October. And the third thing is, I think they ignore the reality that the civilian casualties are so high because Hamas has embedded its fighters in densely populated civilian residential neighborhoods, in schools, and the hospitals, and even has built a command center, communication center, under the offices of UNRWA, the chief UN agency in the region. So I think it was one-sided in its impact, which is why Hamas welcomed it, and Israel says we're not going to respond to it.
All absolutely excellent points, Ramesh. Is the United Nations now unrecognisable to you?
No, I think we all want the United Nations to be effective against every other country, but react with anger when it turns its attention to us. The Security Council is a geopolitical cockpit of the UN system. It's not a world court. It's not an ethics body where they debate things on merits. It reflects different perspectives, and there's a change afoot. Israel is losing support in Western countries. We see that on our own streets. It's losing support internationally. And part of the Hamas calculations would have been to provoke a severe Israeli retaliation that mobilize the Arab street, inflame Muslim and Arab opinion, and bring protesters onto the streets of Western capitals. I mean, they've done every trick so far.
Yeah, they have indeed. Indeed.
Israel is being
Ramesh, I apologise. Yeah. We're out of time. I apologise, but thank you very much for your insight.